Damon's heart skipped a beat. Even if he wanted to act as if he didn't care, he couldn't help asking,
"Who with?"
I don't know yet.
Tiffany shrugged her shoulders and pretended to be aloof. Damon knew that a lot of people in the university wanted to date Tiffany, but she had always claimed that she had never contemplated falling in love.
"So why do you want to fall in love all of a sudden?"
He wondered. He also fleetingly thought that he might be the object of Tiffany's desires himself, but thinking about it, he decided that he and Tiffany had only known each other a short time. Moreover, since the Californium had been found to be fake, he had become an enemy of the Vandergeld family. He was also sure that Tiffany thought he was a loser, so there was no way she was going to fall for him. He didn't really know what to say.
"Well, that's great. Our lecturer said that experiencing love is the most important thing in life."
Tiffany rolled her eyes. She was so angry with him that she didn't know what to do with herself, so she left. Outside the police station, people passing by looked at Damon and Tiffany curiously and commented to each other.
"Wow, how does that loser have such a beautiful girlfriend?"
He's made his girlfriend angry, so why doesn't he give her a hug?
Damon considered Tiffany's grand statement, thinking that if she could fall in love with him, it would be one of the most incredible things that had ever happened to him. Noah had taken Tiffany's money and booked a karaoke booth for himself and Jessica that evening.
Damn it, that girl's genuinely rich.
Noah looked at his bank account balance, and the smile on his face became even more visible.
You said that Tiffany went to the station to help Damon. Do you think she actually likes him?
Noah had once been a rich kid himself, but at the university, Tiffany was so popular that even the very wealthy students weren't able to win her over. Making a play for Tiffany wasn't something he could ever contemplate for himself.
How could that even be possible? Do you think Tiffany's blind?
Jessica asked grumpily. There was absolutely no way she could accept that her ex-boyfriend could find a new girlfriend who was more beautiful than her.
There's no way she'll go for a loser like him.
That's true,
Noah said, nodding in agreement. Tiffany was not only more beautiful than Jessica, but she also had a better family background. Moreover, Tiffany was like a princess, with her bubbly personality. There really was no comparison between the two women. Damon went to the barbecue restaurant next to the university. He was looking for Melanie, but she was nowhere to be seen.
"Excuse me, sir. Do you know where Melanie is?"
He asked the owner. The owner looked embarrassed, and he didn't reply. However, his wife responded.
"Melanie is a smart, lovely young lady. But she was afraid she'd cause trouble for our restaurant, so she chose to resign."
"Melanie resigned? Where did she go?"
Damon wondered. She was nonverbal, so it could be tricky for her to find work.
"You're her friend, right? There's $3,000 in this envelope. Take it and give it to her. We tried, but she wouldn't take it."
Damon could see that the boss and his wife were kind people, so he nodded and put the envelope in his pocket. When he returned to the university, he found that the whole place was abuzz with rumors about him. Jessica and Noah were the best at spreading fake news, and he knew they would be enjoying telling everyone about his arrest. Damon had always been quiet and kept to himself, so it was easy for the other students to think that he was nothing but a loser. He didn't care about that though, because he knew the truth. It was only after dinner that Damon finally found Melanie. She had left her bike outside the main gate of the university and had gone to do some grocery shopping for her new food stall at the night market. She loaded the shopping into the basket on the front of her bike and tried to cycle away, but the bike was too heavy. As she struggled, she looked up and saw Damon. Her face lit up instantly, and she handed him a fresh strawberry. Damon took it, smiled, and popped it in his mouth.
"It's so sweet."
Melanie smiled. The sunshine lit up her face and made her look even more stunning. The two spent the afternoon together, and Damon helped Melanie get her stall ready for her first night of business. But no one came to the stall. By 10 that night, they had sold nothing at all. Eventually, Aiden came along to offer moral support and to buy a couple of skewers.
"Damon, nice little business you got going here. How much do I owe you for these?"
He was devouring his skewers as if he hadn't eaten for days. There were 4 people in Damon's dormitory, but he only really liked Aiden. His family wasn't rich either, but he often offered to help Damon. Sometimes, he would lend him money, and once he lent him $2,000. When they had been freshmen, Aiden had said, half-jokingly, that Damon would never be able to get Jessica to spend the night with him. Thinking back, Damon felt a little sorry for him.
They're on me.
Damon said and pushed Aiden's hand away.
If it weren't for you, I'd have starved to death years ago.
Aiden smiled awkwardly and went back to the dorm. He hadn't had any money in his pocket at all, and he was relieved that he hadn't been charged. On that first night, the stall's income looked like it was going to be precisely zero. Just before midnight, Damon theatrically sat down at the table and said,
Miss, please give me some of your delicious grilled chicken skewers.
Then, he put $5 on the table. He wasn't going to allow the first night to end with no business at all. That would have been soul-destroying for Melanie. She laughed out loud and threw 2 skewers on the grill. While he was eating, Damon admired Melanie's face. In a way, she was like a skewer in his eyes. He imagined lathering her in barbecue sauce and thought how enchanting she would look. When Melanie noticed that he was staring at her, she blushed and looked away, pretending to tend to the grilled meat.
You don't need to worry about taking too much money tonight, you know? These things take time. Stick with it and customers will come.
What he didn't say was that, as someone coming from a rich and powerful family, he could ensure that Melanie would never have money troubles again. But he felt he couldn't say that. Thomas had always told Damon that he must be humble before accepting the power and authority that was coming his way. He had been right, as usual, and Damon knew he needed to be extra careful as he still didn't know if there would be any complications with his father. The next day, Damon went to help Melanie with her stall after class.
Well, what a difference a day makes,
he thought. Melanie's turnover had increased massively, and she had finally attracted a steady stream of customers. The following day, she sold over $200 worth of food. She was flying. The stall carried on doing well for the rest of that week, and each day, Damon went to help Melanie after spending time with Thomas. To him, Thomas was a kind of walking encyclopedia. Such was his knowledge and wisdom. Damon wasn't lacking in that department either. He learned new things very quickly, and he always enjoyed Thomas opening up his mind to him. On the last day of that week, Melanie looked in her cash box and saw she had made more than $500. She was overjoyed. A tear came to her eye, and she finally dared to dream that things would work out for her. All the hard slog had been worth it. She went to close the stall for the weekend, and Damon took the box. He opened it and looked at the cash inside. He was very happy for Melanie, but something didn't seem right to him. Spending time with Thomas had taught him many things, not least of which was the ability to accurately evaluate a wad of cash at a glance. And the money in the box wasn't right. There simply wasn't enough of it. Sure enough, after counting it all out, he saw that his share of the profits wasn't there. After she had closed the stall and put away the chairs, Melanie saw that Damon was still looking at the takings. So she quickly pointed to her pocket as a gesture to say that she had taken some of the money and would give it to him another time. Since Melanie had promised to give Damon exactly half of the stall's total income, he had no reason not to trust her. Besides, she didn't dare to open the stall at night without him. He knew that she was careful with her money and that she had saved up around $30,000 to open the stall. However, he noticed the panicked look on her face and decided to put the box down and not mention his misgivings to her.
Oh, don't be silly. You know I trust you.
Besides, Damon wasn't short of money. Melanie smiled with relief and then made a love heart with her fingers. Damon decided that he definitely wouldn't ask her where the money had gone, but he still felt he needed to know, even if it was just to make sure that she wasn't in trouble. Damon only helped Melanie on the stall at nights, so she was on her own in the daytime. Although the takings of the stall were increasing each week, and as welcome as they were, they still weren't enough to make a lot of difference to her financial situation. When they had finished manning the stall that night, Damon and Melanie went their separate ways. As soon as she got home, she sent him a text. "Good night. Sleep well." Damon replied and wished her a good night too. Then, she sent a hugging emoji to him. He was surprised and didn't know how to respond. When Damon didn't reply, Melanie sent another short text before going to sleep. "I'm going to sleep. Good night." The next day, Damon finished with Thomas earlier than expected. He started getting ready to go and find Melanie, but Thomas stopped him.
"You'd better not take that second-hand car you like so much. It's a little beneath you now. I've got something else for you, and I think you'll like it."
He took Damon to the garage and opened the door. Damon was taken aback. Inside was a top-of-the-range sports car. He had never seen anything quite so magnificent.